All right, so it's another Wednesday, which means another weekly Wednesday team prosperity meeting. We're going to get into things that can directly help you build your business, regardless if you're in the beginning stages, in the building stages, or in the distribution stages. So we're getting into, almost around mid-November now. So we're going to get into that time period. We have Thanksgiving, we have Christmas, we have New Year's. It's going to be a down time for a lot of people. We always kind of give you advice to continue working during these particular periods of time. Yes, take time off, enjoy your family, do those things, have a balanced life, but also don't just shut it down completely, because the things that you do now can create an immediate impact on your business, but also create that springboard into 2023. So when everybody comes back and they're trying to restart, get going, you're springboarding. You've got a leap ahead of them. So that's one thing. And then the other thing that I would advise is during the off times when you can't have the direct activity, continue to learn, continue to look at things that will help your business, because as an entrepreneur, it's a competitive landscape. The more that you can do to create a better business model for yourself, a better client experience, and the ability to pass that down in a replicatable way to your partners is huge in terms of what it can do for the distribution side. So your online business, and we're going to get into some things today, in terms of the topic of conversation. But before I do that, just a couple of things that have come up this week. An online business is your business. So that means, there is risks, there's the reality of the situation. You have to bring the mindset, you have to bring answers to problems. Remember, you have to bring solutions. Part of being an entrepreneur is really solving problems. You have to make sure you surround yourself with the right type of people, create the right type of options. And this is an entrepreneurial business, which means that you provide the traction, you provide the ignition, the spark to get this going. If you do nothing on the front end, there's nothing going to be manufactured on the back end. Remember, if you're trying to accomplish something 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months down the road, then those longer term goals are affected by what you do today, what you do in the next couple hours. So don't think about a long-term goal. And that's the disadvantage of having a long-term goal, is you can kind of kick the can down the road. Hey, it's not due until, a number of months. As that time frame gets closer together, you realize I'm not going to accomplish that goal. What do? We start watering it down. We don't want to water down our goals. We want to make sure to have targets or objectives, to make sure we know what those are, and to bring the necessary action and intention and energy into these time frames to accomplish this stuff. Your action today has a direct result on what's going to happen tomorrow. When you're building your business as an entrepreneur, building an online business, so you're surrounding yourself with that persona of clients and partners that you're going after, continue to understand, where's your audience, in terms of online, what books are they reading? What influencers are they following? What programs are they into? What news outlets are they getting their information from? What social media groups and pages are your persona going to be found? Remember, once you develop a persona and you find that persona, it's just about having that message that's going to resonate with that persona, getting them to raise their hand. Yes, I want more information about this. Yes, I would like to talk to somebody about this. Find your persona, get a message that resonates. Once you do that, it's very, very easy to get this business built. Another thing that came up this week is, as you're getting comfortable with your business, there are some things that you have to understand. One of those is everything is your numbers. If you don't understand your numbers, you don't understand your business, because small things that you can do on the front side have enormous potential ripple effects on the backside. And that goes in both a positive and a negative connotation. You can see right here that a 10% lift in conversion in this example equals an 800% increase in sales. So understand those front end numbers that we want you to evaluate and really know. It's not just because we want to give you extra work. It's because this is how you bring, velocity to sales, by having small increases in different parts of the funnel process. Here, conversion factor. And the other thing I want to cover real quick before we get into today's topic is, on the education side, on the sales side, we need to make sure that we squeeze out the middle. So what we're doing is we're getting more people to decide, not in the middle where they're unsure, and we follow up with them for a long period of time to the point we just lose communication. You want to make sure you squeeze out that middle and create more decisions. And then once you start creating more decisions, you can alternatively start to create more positive outcomes as well. And then lastly, real quick before we get into today's conversation, is if you want to make money in a business, you have to learn how to follow up, because creating general interest on the front side, creating lead generation, if there's no follow-up, if there's no consistency in the follow-up, like we talk about, things are going to fall through the cracks. If you have enough things fall through the cracks, that's revenue, that's income, that's business growth. Enough of that over X period of time is going to create some doubt in your mind in terms of your business model, if it works, if you can do it, etc. So A, follow up, and then B, get in front of people. Make sure that you don't have long distances of time between communication, and always, 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 like we talked about before, be obsessed with the next action step. Don't leave it up to your prospects. Last week, you guys, we talked about, your people in terms of your prospects, your clients, your partners. They can't have it both ways. People cannot have it both ways. They're in control. And if what they're doing financially right now is not working, it's not going to work in the future. People either pay the small price of discipline and association now, or they pay the ultimate price later. Replacing bad information with good information is the starting point to changing the mindset around money, earning, spending, and ultimately investing and multiplying that money. So this week, we're going to be talking about what's your message to the people, because it's important, like I talked about just a few minutes ago. Once you have a persona and you have a dialed in message that resonates with that persona, a lot of this is just getting in front of the right types of people. So your message to the people, in a general consensus, is that, we solve problems. We analyze problems, we solve problems, we bring solutions to the marketplace that people need, want, and desire. So we are always looking for solutions, not the problem. People like to dwell on the problem. Part of our job is to help them realize you don't want to dwell on the problem and concentrate on the problem. You want to concentrate on the solution, what's going to actually give you results. Your business can be like everything else. And we talked about in financial services, it's a very, very large industry. If you're just going to do what everybody else does, you have to compete. Revolutionary means that you innovate, you do something different that allows you to stand alone. We don't want to compete. We want to stand alone. We want to differentiate ourselves. So part of your message to the people, like we talked about before, is, you have to realize that there are many solutions to people's problems. And then there are the obvious solution. You have to position yourself and make sure the message is heard that you are the obvious solution here. Remember, when you are in front of people, we're trying to create relationships. This isn't something where you're on the phone closing somebody for a sale and you see them, you get their credit card number, you never talk to them again. So you don't want to be a salesperson. You want to be a doctor, because the people that you're helping, you're creating long-term relationships with. You want to make sure they're the right people that you can help. They want the help, and they're willing to do what's necessary to get to that end outcome. Trying to qualify or press everybody into a specific bucket is going to be a hard road, and it's a grind. And if you grind too long, what you're going to find yourself is that you don't like doing this anymore, and you're going to quit. So don't try to qualify everybody. Try to disqualify the people. By disqualifying, you're actually qualifying the people that fit into that persona, that you can help, that want the help, that are able and willing to accept the help. And then it's about just making sure that those quality people, those personas, that they get the attention, and then we build the relationship with them. Don't be desperate. Don't be desperate in marketing. Don't be desperate in the education and sales. Be exclusive. A lot of times I get off with somebody and I don't want them as a client. And I think, God, thank goodness that we can go ahead and cut that, disqualify them there. Think about if I had to talk to that person, so many times over the next X amount of months. You don't want to position yourself or other people you're working with to be surrounded by people they don't want to talk to. So we're not desperate. We're exclusive. We have a certain persona. We have certain people that we want to help, and we go after those people. Your message also has to incorporate that, for example, on the front side, being debt-free is great. That's not going to solve their problems. That's only half the solution. Income doesn't build wealth. You're not going to earn income to the point you become rich. Income generating assets do. So part of our convert debt to wealth, program and policy and pathway is helping people understand the differences in assets, appreciating assets, cash flow assets, depreciating assets, consumption, all of those things, and to help them understand and organize a legitimate pathway to getting to the point. And everything we talk about is a mathematical equation. Financial independence, so financial freedom for us in terms of what we see for our clients is when that standard of living that you have every month that you need to cover, we'll call that X, when it can be covered by the passive income from our assets. So we need to make sure that people understand what we do is not just about a product or service, it's about a product or service with a relationship to get people to a desired endpoint. The wisdom to know the difference is so, so important. Remember, when somebody's just piling money into an appreciating asset means that I'm going to hold on to this asset. And it means that sometime in the future, when I decide to sell that asset, I'm hoping that the next person that I sell it to is going to pay me more than I paid for it. Well, that doesn't always work. So what we need to make sure that we understand is that cash flow assets, they pay us to hold them. So you get the two components of both the capital gain and the cash flow component. So our message to the people is educate yourself, understand how to get to where you want to go, because just hoping and praying is not really a plan at all. It's just a wish. Your message to the people, especially as a marketer, you can have a big promise with specific claim. You can have that first person story of transformation, the removal of pain, actual client testimonial. These types of angles, these 5, work really, really well. So as a marketer, positioning yourself with your message and those types of angles to help you create general interest that leads to next action steps is so, so, so important. So, studying these, understanding what each of these are, and getting around, that upfront message that you feel comfortable with, that's actually working, getting a response back from the other side. Stop selling. We don't want to sell in marketing. We don't want to sell in the education process. What we want to start doing in both of those roles is interviewing. We want to start interviewing as a marketer. We want to start interviewing as an educator, because that creates an opportunity to disqualify and also qualify, but also inside the qualification process, understand the motivating factors. Remember, we have to understand where somebody's trying to get to, because if they're trying to get nowhere, they don't know where they're trying to go, they don't need our help. Our help is to help them get to an endpoint. Some of the message has to be common money mistakes. Are your prospects or are your potential clients falling into common money mistakes? If so, they have to recognize those money mistakes, realize that they're committing those or falling into those, and then rectify the situation. Are they settling? Are they creating, some type of a plan based on the mirages of what benefits Wall Street? Not them. Are they depending on one income? Are they comparing themselves to others? Bringing that false sense of confidence. Are they investing on trends? Just whatever is the newest thing online. That's a fast way to go broke. Are they going through life trusting without proof? We are a data-driven company, so we always have proof. Saving just to save. The government devalues your currency. And are you a pretender spender? These are the people that go out and they just spend a lot of money. They don't have any savings. They don't have any assets. They just spend all their money on depreciating assets and consumption. Also, if your money isn't working for you, you have to recognize why not. Is it entitlement, middle-class mindset, lack of consistency, normal actions, the wrong vehicle? You never save anything. You have no sales skills. When you're talking to people, part of what we do is help expose deficiencies, because you can't correct something until you identify the problem. So not necessarily as a marketer, you don't have to dive too much into this. It's more of surface area. But as an educator, you're going to have to dive in and help these people. Hey, up to this point, you've gotten here. Probably not where you want to go. You're wanting to go somewhere, that you desire as an end outcome. We have to identify what's been holding us up in the past and how to get past that, overcome those obstacles to get where we want to go. Once again, not understanding the risk in your financial plan, breaking the rules of the plan for X, Y, or Z, the inability to act, react, or adjust, just sitting on your hands, falling in love with mediocrity, failing to realize that, hey, you're in control and this is up to you, failure to learn from past mistakes, no consistency. These are all reasons why people fail. And these are the reasons why we have to bring up to help people understand either preemptively to overcome this stuff, or if they're falling into these traps, to realize, identify, and rectify. Also, your message to the people is also about helping identifying what is their unique specific reasons. What are their primary goals? Non-financial, everybody wants to make money, everybody wants to be rich. What's the real reason? What motivates them? What are their hopes and dreams? What are the financial goals? In terms of accomplishing that will help you obtain your primary goals, short, long term. What are the strengths and weaknesses of yourself, of your plan, of your past attempts, whatever it might be? What are the assets that are going to help you meet your goals? When do you want to achieve your goals? How much time, energy, resources are you willing to dedicate? Once again, what we do is we help solve the puzzle for free, put it out in front of them. It's up to them to take action. And action points also, there's a big difference. Just on the partner side, you can have interest in our business or you can have commitment to our business. We're looking for a commitment. Same thing on the client side. You can have interest in financial wellness and security, or you can have commitment. We're looking for clients that want to commit to this. And then making it real. What stopped you in the past? How will hitting this stuff, how will doing the things that we've outlined today, how will it change your life? And then what are you willing to do? This is called making it real. There is a cost of something and there's a value of something. Your message to your people, your prospects, your potential clients is about value. What's the value of getting you to a point you want to go to? What is the value of setting yourself up for a nice standard of living in retirement? What is the value of becoming debt-free? What's the value of having a personal relationship with our company and our advisors or our coaches that are going to be there to help you step by step? Cost, value. You want to concentrate on the value of something. And then also, as you're speaking to people, part of what we need to make sure they understand is we have expectations. Don't buy these products and services unless you're going to use them. Don't enter into a relationship with us unless you're going to see it out. So we have expectations. We have, things that you must commit to on your side because we're coming halfway. If you meet us halfway, things are going to happen. If you fail to live up to your commitments, none of this stuff is going to happen. At the end of the day, guys, it's answers, conclusions, solutions. It's, this way, that way. We're trying to create a fork in the road. Hey, do you want to continue on the path that you're on, or do you want to take the new path that's going to lead over to where you're actually trying to go to? Remember, people are concerned about money matters. You hear that of the day. People are complaining about, inflation, rising interest rate, taxes, all these things. But few of these people truly understand how money works. And if you don't learn how money works, you're going to spend the rest of your life working for it. Remember, a message to the people is something ends up working. Either you or your assets needs to be your assets. This is how you increase the flow of your pipeline. I've showed this to you guys many, many, many times. You have to, in the front side, be able to build some rapport. That rapport allows for some trust and credibility, whether that's online material or whether that's something you're giving to them in the first little bit of time of the conversation. If we can get the rapport, trust, and credibility, people want to talk. They want to talk about themselves. They want to give their opinions. They want to give information about themselves. Let them talk. Don't overcome the conversation with all of your language. Get them talking. That's all you have to do. Ask questions, ask them to elaborate a little bit more. That information uncovers a problem. Once you have a problem, you can come in with a solution that leads to everything that we want, which is the next action step. If you don't get this upfront stuff done, you can't just jump to solutions and action steps. If you kind of dedicate yourself to understanding this pipeline or this pyramid and how to reverse engineer this stuff backwards, all the components of this equal mastery. This is how you increase the flow of your pipeline, by understanding how to get to an action step. You can't get here without the rest of this. Also, part of your message has to help them understand, yeah, if we look backwards, what are the financial regrets that you have, or what is the financial advice that you would give yourself 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago? Now we have to look forward. Hey, we can't do anything about the past. Where are you going to be in the next 5 years, 60 months, all this breakdown, 1,800 days? Where are you going to be? Because without a plan of action and the execution of that plan of action, you're drifting into those time frames. And when people drift into these time frames, little to nothing gets accomplished. It's easy to look back. I can't believe 5 years has passed, 10 years has passed. You're in the same position that you are now. It's one of the worst places to be. Looking into the future and feel, hey, I don't think things are going to be much different than they are now. It requires, if you want to get somewhere new, it requires, you make the changes, that you modify things, that you adjust, that you shift, that you transform. Part of our job is to help people understand how to get that accomplished. Also, part of our job and part of our message is you're trying to get somewhere in the future, but you're not anywhere close right now. You have been in charge up to right now. These have been decisions. You have been driving the car, so to speak. How's that working out for you? We don't talk about this in terms to make people angry. We talk about this to make them realize that, hey, this is correct. I have been in charge up to this point. I'm not really getting where I go. I want help. There's a lot of different reasons that people get help. People get help for physical trainers to help them, get in better shape. People go to therapy. There's all types of reasons that you would get somebody to help you with something. If most of the country is financially illiterate, most of the country doesn't know how money works, it makes sense to get an advisor or a coach to help them. And then from your point of view, you have to believe, that what you're doing in some small way is going to make a big impact or even a tiny impact. So what we are doing, changing the financial landscape of this country, individual by individual or family by family, means that those conversations you're having on the front side are very important. The marketing that you do leads to the education, leads to sales. Those sales lead to people getting that desired end outcome. So if you don't believe in what you're doing, no one else is going to believe it anyway. And that's going to come out in your marketing, in your language, communication. You have to believe we're making an impact. You're a financial technology company. You're a fintech company. So you're on the revolution of what's happening right now. You're in the buzzwords of financial wellness and financial literature, or literacy. You're also on the forefront in terms of what technology is doing to many industries, but especially the financial industry. So you are in a good position. You're with a smart technology company. We offer data-driven education that diagnoses the problem, offers a solution, step-by-step instructions to get that solution accomplished over X period of time. Be confident in what you have to offer. It's not the right fit for somebody. Somebody doesn't believe in it. Somebody doesn't want to improve their financial situation. Great, move on. We create exact strategies. And this is so important. Your message to the people is this is not about some bucket program or theoretical, hypothetical situation. This is about an exact strategy that will take somebody from a state of confusion to a state of confidence. And what that does, it creates peace of mind and control for the future. That is a extremely valuable piece going forward. If somebody has control and peace of mind, understanding they've got an answer no matter what happens, it's very, very valuable in terms of looking at their overall life in the different types of spaces in the wellness pie. If you got the financial piece taken care of, it helps the other pieces of wellness. If you don't have the financial wellness piece taken care of, it negatively impacts the other pieces of wellness. So we are a data-driven company, and we lead with data, and everything that we talk about, is math, algorithms, formulas. All of this stuff matters. But you also have to realize when you're talking to people, people are emotional creatures. So that's why we have to talk to them in a way to help them understand, yes, everything is based on mathematical equations, but remember, they're making decisions based on emotions. And how is this going to help them? What is it going to do for them? Who's going to help them? All of these things that are going through their head, people are emotional creatures. So you have to kind of balance between the emotion and the data to create a nice kind of, middle part where you can talk to these people. If you don't really understand and get to somebody's why, then you're going to have a bunch of appointments, you're going to do a bunch of marketing, and you're going to have little to no sales. And it's going to be a very, very, very frustrating experience. Remember, we're not just selling a product or service. That product or service helps create the path or the bridge to get them from where they are now to where they want to be. Without that motivating factor, without understanding the why, everything else you're doing is just wasting your time. So what's really happening in your conversations, making sure what you're trying to relay to the other side is interpreted in that same way. What's really happening in your communication? What's really happening in the messages that you're sending out? Is it being perceived and internalized the way that you want it to be? Just like we tell our partners, income is a reflection of learning and doing new things. Something with our clients, personal finance is a skill set. You know, the more time, energy, resources devoted into that, the better they get. Same thing. If you get a gym membership and you never, ever, ever show up at the gym, you can't expect to be in good shape just having the gym membership. Same thing here. You have to dedicate time, energy, resources to getting what you want. Our job is the education, the strategy, the coaching. Their job is the desire. And then with that, you know, what it takes to get there. The point from A to B, remember, some people have no idea where that end outcome is going to be. Some people have a general idea, they just don't know how to get there. Our job is to create that long and winding road where we're unsure where it's going and create a more linear equation from point A to point B. That linear equation, saving time, saving money, getting over to asset accumulation much faster. So as you're out there talking to the same types of people over and over and over again with the same type of messages, what you're going to realize is you start to know these people even better than they know themselves. And you can start to preemptively get out in front of these people with some of those objections, whether it be psychological or otherwise, that you're encountering. And when you preemptively overcome obstacles, it becomes easier to get that pathway down to that next action step. Remember, we have a 1, 2, 3 design. And this is important because it creates exact answers. It works with all types of different situations, and it's based on proven results. That 1, 2, 3 design, inside there, 2 extremely important components. One is a predictable strategy. And then number 2 is the proven process that secures that strategy for the long run with a track record of success. When you are talking to people, you need to help them understand, you know, there are 2 camps or 2 types of people. Number 1, we classify as the empowered. Number 2, we classify as like in the dark. The in the dark, they have no clue what's going on, and they really have no idea about what's going to happen. So their plan of action is to hope and pray that everything's going to work out. You know, that's just a wish. That's not a plan of action. The other camp is the empowered. That's the people that we help create. The empowered, they control their situation and they have a plan and they know the following: how much money and how much time. We have to get in front of people. And when we do that, we're looking at their situation. You know, general education leads to specific savings reports. Those savings reports look at somebody's situation in a detailed way. That creates the answer or the solution. That gives them the confidence and control. Once we get that solution, we'll give it to you. We'll solve the puzzle and show you for free. It's up to you to take any necessary action steps that we can help you with. So helping them preemptively understand, hey, we're going to solve this thing for you, but it's up to you to take the action steps. And once again, reinforcing, hey, if we go through this process and we can help you and everything looks good, you have to understand and be willing to understand the need to devise a plan of action to reach their expectations and goals. Leading a horse to water and making the horse actually drink, 2 different things. So once again, we will show them how to get to where they want to go, but they've got to actually, you know, get into this thing and perform. The first step, and this is always part of, you know, helping people understand exactly what the process looks like. We need to do 2 things. See if we can help you, and see if we're the best people to help you get the results that you're actually looking for. And then number 2, once again, reinforcing, seeing if you're ready to take the next action steps to generate the results for the strategies that you're looking for. The power of choice is always something that's part of the human experience. We get to have choices. We have consequences of those choices. So our prospects always have multiple choices. Our goal is to get them into a point where they make a positive decision for themselves and their future. Another thing that we help them understand is, hey, life is full of a bunch of distractions. There's A, things that matter, and there's B, things that you control. Right in the middle, there's a sweet spot, things you should focus on. So once again, like in the wealth side, I tell people, we're at $31 trillion in debt. You add up the unfunded liabilities for Social Security and Medicare, everything else, we're at $172 trillion in debt. We can't do anything about that. The only thing I can help you do is prepare for that storm with, raincoats and umbrellas to shield you from that future tax liability. So once again, things that matter, things that control, right in the middle, what they should focus on. We just talked about this. If the financial wellness piece of the wellness pie is not in place, if somebody has financial stress, it's going to bleed over into all the rest of these pieces of pie. Financial chaos, financial instability can be as bad as drug addiction, alcoholism. So you have to understand, when somebody's having money problems, it's 24/7. If somebody has created a situation where they're financially well, they've got a plan of action, they know where they're going, that also bleeds over into these other sections of wellness in a positive way. So understand what you're doing is not just about the money part, it's about the entire life part as well. We started today with kind of talking about what's your message to the people. Your message is, hey, regardless of what's going on, we've got answers and we can help. And if you get, like I said, into the mindset that you're making a difference, that you can help, you get obsessed with helping other people, the money will follow, and the amount of impact that you have on other people's lives will be enormous going forward. You'll create so many success stories. You'll feel good. Clients will feel good. That creates a lot of user-generated content, referrals, testimonials, everything else that you're looking for. Hope you guys got some value out of today. We'll continue each and every week just to dig into your business to make sure that we get you to those next benchmarks that you're trying to set for yourself.